Hi. Stoicism. It's pronounced as Stoicism. It is a philosophy that's raised in Athens, dates back to 2,500 years ago, and it's actually a philosophy that's designed to make you more happy, more resilient, more virtuous, and in a way, it actually makes you a better person, better professional, parents, and that's what it's actually designed for. Generally, if you talk about philosophy, we only talk about it, and that's differentiating Stoicism from the other philosophies. It makes you practice what they preach. Uh, there's a beautiful book called Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. It's not the exact book what they written. It's actually a set of journal that's collected and it's translated into a book. And there are some great people who followed this. There's authors, kings, philosophers, presidents who followed this. Some name, if you'd ask me, Thomas Alva Edison has followed Stoicism. Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, our president, not our president, America's president. So there's a huge list of people who followed Stoicism and they believe in Stoicism. And in this video, I'd like to talk to you about the practices in detail. I got this practices, the list of 9 practices from the blog on Daily Stoicism, written by Ryan Holiday. He's an amazing author who talks in detail about Stoicism. Let's get into understand how we can practice. Before that, let's understand the core virtues of Stoicism. There's four pillars, I should say. First is courage. How brave are you? Do you have the balls to do what you really desire? Do you have the courage to follow your heart? And courage is the first virtue that comes in Stoicism. And next is temperance. Are you doing it in moderation? Are you overdoing it, or do you do it in the right amount? And that's temperance. Third virtue is justice. And are you doing the right thing? You have temperance, you have courage, but are you doing the right thing? Because doing what's right is the primary goal in life. And the last thing is wisdom. Wisdom is something that you get to know by understanding more and getting to know the truth. It's not just about collecting the information or knowing more about information, it's about knowing the right information at the right time. So, remaining a student and learning accordingly and wisely is what is called as wisdom. So, courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom. These four main virtues makes Stoicism. Right. Now let's get in detail. There are 9 practices that you can follow, which can make you a better Stoicism. It's not a religion; it is a philosophy, as I told you. So let's get in detail and understand more. First one is dichotomy of control. How do you control yourself? What are the actions that you take to differentiate the factors that you can control and things that you cannot control? uh, let's say there's a famous example. You go to a flight, you go to an airport, you wait for the flight, the weather is bad, flight is delayed. You cannot control the weather, it's an external factor. But what you can control is your urge to wait, it's being more patient, meditating yourself. And that's the factor, and that's how you differentiate things that you could control and things that you cannot control. That's called as a dichotomy of control. So know what you can control in life, and that's the first and primary practices that you need to follow when you want to follow Stoicism. Second one is journaling your thoughts. So the book itself, the book that I mentioned earlier, Meditation, is actually a journal by the person called Marcus Aurelius. He's an emperor of Roman. He wrote to himself, and which actually turned out to be a book, and it's been a major source of information for a lot of people today. So journaling your thoughts, jotting down what you feel makes you actually heal yourself. It actually shows yourself, and you can follow a lot of journaling methods. You can write it in diary, or you can write it in a notepad and save it in your computer. But writing down your thoughts actually helps you to see yourself where you're going. So journaling is a very good factor, and that's the second most important practice that you need to follow if you want to practice Stoicism. Third is practicing misfortune. So misfortune in the sense, what can you expect the worst case scenario in real life? What could happen? In fact, in this book they talked about imagining the death of your closed ones, which is scary, but by imagining that you expect what is about to come, you know, if something goes bad, you are in a position to face it with confidence. You're in a position to face it realistically, instead of getting depressed, instead of getting down in life. So practice misfortune. It applies even in our job. If you're a software professional, you'd have heard about crash tests and a lot of other things, which shows you what could go bad, and you take steps based on that. So practicing misfortune is the third and the important practice for stoicism. Next comes the training perceptions. In stoicism, generally they say everything is an opportunity. Whether you face an obstacle, make obstacle a way for you to succeed. They say if you're on a burning fire, you're seeing light, so burn more fire so that people can get more light. So they say everything is an opportunity. There's a beautiful example that's quoted. Thomas Alva Edison, on one day, there was a person rushing into Thomas Alva Edison's home, shouting, "There is a fire in our factory, please come soon." And Thomas Alva Edison didn't react very surprisingly. What he did is he called his son and told, "Bring your mom to the factory." And he calmly said, "This is a great opportunity to see a big firecracker, so come soon." So he converted the situation into more enthusiastic situation. He didn't panic. And what happened is when they went, they saw there's a complete disaster. Everything is gone. There's a loss of about $1 million, and in today's number, it would be around some 10 to 20 million dollars. But Edison didn't react. He didn't panic. He was very calm. He understood that he has control on his perception. So he knows that there is an opportunity looking at the incident. Later on, he worked even more harder, and he earned about 20 times uh, better, or 20 times more, even more profit than he could have earned. So he saw that as an opportunity, and that's one of the example. So train perceptions, because you can control what you can achieve in your life. So that's the uh, fourth practice that we need to follow. Fifth one is remembering it is ephemeral, which means nothing is permanent. Your achievements, your fame, your external beauty, everything is ephemeral, and a thing can go at any time. So knowing that and remembering that everything is ephemeral is the fifth and the most important practice that we need to follow. So Stoicism says being a good person is even more important. It's doing the right thing to the right people, and knowing what matters at this moment is actually highly important. There's another example about Alexander the Great. We all know Alexander the Great has acquired almost or conquered almost whole world, but there was a situation in Alexander's life where he drank too much and he killed his best friend. And after that, he was not able to eat for a long time. He was not able to drink water. Everybody was looking at him as a betrayer because he killed his own friend. Now, even though you have conquered the whole world, you're not able to take care of the people around you. Your best friend is killed by you. So those kind of things. So doing good things and knowing that we are small, that matters. So that's what is the fifth practice. That is to remember everything is ephemeral. Sixth one is to take a look at things in a bird's eye view. Take view from the above, which means something is going on in your life. We get depressed either. We all have bad times in our life. Nothing's gonna go in a straightforward line. We all go on a bumpy road. What's more important is look at things in a global conscious view. That means if something is happening with you, you always say, "My life is terrible. I am not good. I am down. I am depressed." Now, when you convert that I into we, there's a more opportunity for you to be happy. There's a more opportunity to make your family happy. Then you take care of your family. You look at things from your society, and then look at in a even more bigger perspective, because there's a lot more things going on around your life, not just you. So taking a good look in a bird's eye view, it's called as a Plato's view. If you look at it in that way, you are also practicing stoicism in your day-to-day life without even knowing that. All right, now the seventh one, the most important one, is called Momento Mori. It's about meditating on your morality. This is something Steve Jobs actually follows. Steve Jobs, when he wakes up in the morning, he says to himself, "What if today is the last day in my life?" Think about you waking up tomorrow morning and thinking that you don't have more time, you just have 12 hours to live. what all things you would do. You would talk to your loved ones, you would forget all your ego, you would do things that you really love to do. Those are the ideas that arises when you imagine on your morality, which means everybody's going to die and everybody has a limited amount of time. So keep that in your meditation and understand that you have very limited time. Today we may sleep, we may not wake up on the next day, and when we wake up, we may not sleep on the same day. So expecting the unexpected is what meditating on your morality means. So that's the seventh practice that we have to follow. And eighth one is premeditation on evils. This actually talks about preparing for disruption. It goes back to our third practice, which is practice misfortune, but in a different way. We have to imagine, visualize things that could go bad. That's premeditation of evils. So always be prepared for disruption. That means be prepared psychologically. You're ready, and that actually builds resilience and actually builds strength. When things go wrong, you're not seeing it out of the blue. You know that you expected this could go wrong. So this is done in a lot of companies and startups, or entrepreneurs do that. They expect something unexpected could happen, so that they're not shocked, they're not panicked, because they expected things it could go wrong, and they can act psychologically. Because when you prepare psychologically, then you're strong enough to take steps, and you're strong enough to come back bigger. As I told you, it brings more resilience into your life and more strength. So that's the eighth practice. And practice number nine is amor fati. Amor fati. 40, did I say 40? Kill me. It's amor fati. And amor fati exactly means to love what happens in our life. Uh, we generally expect a lot of things in life, and when our expectations didn't go right, we go down, or we lose our momentum, we lose our enthusiasm. Amor fati means that you love what is happening in your life, whether it is good or bad. Accept it and face the reality, and that way you enjoy. If it's a good thing, if it's a joyful thing, you take it and be happy. If it's something that's making you sad and suffer through it, because it's given to you. So amor fati is to love what is happening in life. So these are the nine practices. I suggest you to practice it and start from journaling. It's the easiest way for you to practice Stoicism. I've seen my fellow colleagues and my mentors doing Stoicism. In fact, I got to know about this from my mentor. Practice it, and you will get to see a lot of difference in life. And I wish you all the best. See you.